Hello everyone, welcome to a pet reading. This one I'm going to focus in on a pick a card to connect with a pet or pets that you may have lost at some point. We're just going to connect in with their soul energy here, their love, and just kind of receive what messages they have for us. So I am going to timestamp below, so you can pause the video to take time to pick a card if you want to tune in. I'm an organic reader, so you will see me pulling cards away, getting the charms, etc. So this timestamps below will help you kind of skip the process. So pause the video here if you need more time to tune into a card. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get into group one. Card number one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle and we'll get some messages. So let's just put that aside. I'll shuffle, get some messages first. We'll see if we want to put some charms on top just for some additional messaging from your pets. And then we'll dive in. Pets will come in either together on a common breed. There's always going to be a common thread. So common breed, a similar message. So they want to come in and provide you with the same message or similar intent and sort of thought that they're having. Or they'll come in because they have similar personality traits as well, so that you can see your pet in the reading. I don't usually pick off the top like that, so that's interesting. Put it aside. And yeah, I feel like we're going to do some charms, so we'll see what charms I want to pair with each bundle of cards here. Give you some more messaging. Quite a bit falling over here. I can feel the movement. I think one more they're trying to shake out. There we go. And then over here. Quite a bit around direction, misdirection, maybe. Lots of love. We got the soulmate and bucket full of love, new start. So maybe there's households here, multiple animal households on this side. Lots of messages. So maybe coming through on maybe a common breed, because we have a variety of messages here. Kind of direction and luck, transformation. Okay. So maybe the kind of the card that we use to select the pile and draw in, maybe this is the commonality. So really I'm drawn to the three rabbits. So maybe this is a multiple many pets in the household, or there's several pets that you have lost over the years. I know myself, I've had many companions, so it sounds like you might hear from kind of a group of them, or like we're seeing here, sort of the playmates vibe. So again, animals that may have been in the household at the same time here. Okay. We're going to start on the side and kind of work our way up to the plethora of messages over here. We'll dive into the cards first. We'll see how the charms complement. Okay, let's see who we're talking here to. We're probably connecting in with some felines, just to go very literal right off the bat with the visual they chose from this deck of cards. You know, the reaching out, the kneading that cats do. You know, the right raising of their hind when you're petting them and they're purring. Maybe the commonality is these are all cats that had uniqueness in their tails. Extremely fluffy, you know, a special pattern. They do have the ribbon and the bow and the bells here tied around their tails, so they're definitely showing off their tails here. So something unique, or they were one of your feline friends that would always come by and make sure they hit you in the face with the tail, right? To make sure you notice them. And they're coming in here with some kind of urgent message, something that they definitely want you to hear today, to receive today. I don't know if it's connected to the summer solstice, the changing of the seasons, as they're drawing me into these cherry blossoms here. These kind of beautiful new blossoms around, so a new season, or maybe you're headed into a new chapter, or something new is about to happen for you. But there's some urgent news that they're bringing in. And there's celebration here with the mask, right? Going to a party of some kind. So we have a milestone of a change of a season, some acknowledgement here as well for you. Definitely an outpouring of love, just how they're kind of reigniting your heart here. So maybe you've been really missing them, or this is a recent loss for you, because they are trying to warm up your heart center here again. So that means that you've been, a little sad lately, or maybe you've just been a little sad lately in general, just, with challenges in life here. But they're acknowledging here, they're trying to warm up your heart here. Maybe that's why they were petting me here with their fluffy tails or soft tails on my face. Comforting, right? Softness, comforting. Okay. I'm just trying to pick up all the charms. Okay. So we got some kitties here. Common breed. So similar to how their tails are tied here very tightly, they chose the tie, the neck tie. And this is about either tightness in your throat chakra. So you're not speaking right now. So you could be choked up because it's a recent loss. So they're acknowledging that, right? You're kind of quiet and reserved right now. There's a lot of white fluffiness of the clouds, the fluffiness and softness of the tail. So maybe spending time in bed. Maybe you've been suffering from allergies, or like a head or chest cold that would have your throat affected right now. So dry throat, scratchy throat, just a lack of talking at this time. You seem very quiet. Yeah, quiet, and yet they're rushing in here with energy and celebration and excitement. So I have my footprints here, and this is starting off on a new journey. And I believe I was talking about a new chapter here, when I saw the graduation there, the milestone. So they are acknowledging that you are about to set off on this new milestone. The loss of your pet was not the milestone, if it was a recent loss for you. They're excited about it. They're walking here along with you. This is also my charm that reminds me of the poem Footprints in the Sand. It's all about your angel, your loved ones on the other side, supporting you and walking with you. As I was putting it down, they drew me to the card being called the Madge, so manifestation, and we have the starfish. So this is all about moving forward on your soul path, what was planned for you. Sometimes I read it as a windmill, so it's like getting the wind back in your sails, right? If you've been quiet or feeling under the weather lately, this is the pick me up. It also looks like the bundle of tails, right? The way they're all curving. So movement, they definitely want you to get up and keep moving forward. Energy, sort of the what do we call them? The feline zoomies here, right? Ready to pounce. It's in the position of, I'm going to catch that. I'm going to go for it. They're trying to shower you, bring you that energy, refuel your heart with that energy, the motivation that you need, the excitement, the passion that you need to pick up and go. Okay. Come into this next group. We have the ancestor charm. So they might be connected in age. This might be an older group. I should say this is probably a multiple feline home as well, or you've had multiple felines, so they're all feeling the same about you right now, right? We're multiple pet home here. But the ancestor makes me feel lineage or age. So if it wasn't a multi animal home, this would be generational, right? So you kept the kitten, the puppy, the baby of your pet, and you kept raising the generations, and maybe you're continuing to raise the generations. We have a sense of direction here, wisdom and knowledge. So kind of a push, a little nudge. The turtle's all about a little nudge back onto your path, and making peace. You know, the dove coming down from heaven with love and peace. Maybe you've been concerned just from the way they passed. If they're at peace, you know, sometimes we wonder if they're good, which they always are. You know, this is them confirming for you, yes, you know, we're all here, we're all happy. Yeah. Oops. Quite a bit of emphasis here to the headspace, right? Both cards. Now we have a tower. So I do think their passing was probably a traumatic event for you. So quick, unexpected, you know, making the hard decision, or just a fast decline when they got to old age. But there's like, this is the releasing of the guilt, the emotions, the skeletons in the closet, right? Anything related to their passing, to putting them down, right? This is like their urn, the memento that you have, the memories that you have of them. This is gold. This is shining, and they want you to release all this trauma, right? All these feelings, all the green and the red. You know, this is emotional healing. This is anger and sort of those feelings that are part of that space. Like I was saying, guilt, self-doubt, frustration, and kind of moving forward there. So they definitely want you to kind of move forward and on. Let's see why they're drawing me here to the headspace so much. It's so unique and special about the haircut here. They're really drawing me into the horn, the uniqueness here. I mean, these could be birds. They could be drawing me into beaks, if we're looking for common species. They kind of are, you know, the point here is being emphasized. Or there was something unique about their ears. Maybe they were a pet that had like a chip or a piece missing from their ear, or like one up, one down. There's something quite unique here about the top of their head here. It could just be a patch of color. Maybe it's this, or the way you've cut their hair. But yeah, I feel like maybe that's the unique trait that these all share in common. If it's not a bird or birds that you've lost here, but look what, you know, they're coming straight forward with love, right? That's all they have on their mind is love for you, right? They stepped forward with love, magic here, the magic to manifest, the gold hue of the angels. And we have the repeat here of the olive branch as well, like the peace, right? Coming in with the branches, you know, make peace about, you know, their passing in head and heart. They draw me back to the emphasis on the head. So head and heart, you know, the emotional and your memory space. Again, remember the good times, right? Don't focus so much on those last final moments. And I'm getting the multiple again, sort of the lineage, or just you know, the children of, or As one aged, you always introduced the next sort of younger one. Maybe that's why I'm getting the arrow too, right? From older to the younger. We have the baby turtle of my two turtles. Maybe that's something you've been considering right now. Maybe you've been wondering if it's too soon, or I can't do it again. And there's this confirmation, this piece here that it's okay to do that. Go ahead, introduce that new pet again back into your life. Look how many you cared for, and there's more to have happy homes, right? This is a gold trunk. This is a happy place. So, continue the lineage here. Continue to care for. All of them are wrapped in green here. They all have love and care around them, right? Green and red. Okay, now we've got our plethora here of charms. We had our grouping of love. This is a soulmate companion, so you probably just felt like you and your pet were kindred spirits. That's what that is. Or in your home, like multiple pets in your home, even your pets were kind of like kindred spirits for each other. Everybody just, the love here that I see, everybody just got along here. Then we have some direction here regarding your heart space, some feelings that need to be, some emotions that need to be dealt with. Not feeling lucky, not feeling satisfied, not feeling fulfilled. And then we have all this excitement here, all this whimsy and power manifestation and transformation. Okay. Woo, even the cards are all bright, smack in the face here. Oh, I don't know why I did that way. Maybe it's because it was a bird. Maybe they wanted to sit up high. So we have birds and reptiles here. So maybe that's why I was drawn to, if you have multiple animals, maybe species, they also get along. I'm looking at the snake, but I'm kind of seeing more of like those geckos, those salamanders style of pets. But when I look at the bird here, I'm drawn to sort of the structure of the body down here. You know how guinea pigs are structured that way? They have the beautiful striping, white, brown, or maybe like a caramel into a darker brown. So maybe you have some guinea pigs, and you were drawn to this group. I'm just seeing if I feel any other animal species here. Yeah, I'm kind of getting the guinea pigs, the birds, and the reptiles. And you might not have a mixture, you might just have multiple of each, or have had. Let's see, where do I want to put the charms? Okay. A similar message here in terms of introducing a new. But maybe this group have already done that, or you're expecting. Maybe one of your guinea pigs is pregnant, or your reptile's waiting for a hatchling, or maybe you are someone that has a pet snake, and you just got a baby snake. You're just starting to give it some love, and introduce it to the family unit here, right? Introduce it to the family. But there's this new love here, this new start. Yeah. So with the arrow charms and the compass, so my compass is all about finding your sense of direction, following your heart, go directly from A to B, do not deviate. And this is coming after a period of loss. Well, we know we're doing a loss reading, but with the double heart, I feel like potentially multiple loss. Maybe you lost a pair of birds. I know birds mate for life, so maybe one passed away naturally and the other passed away from sadness. So maybe you've lost sort of a unit within your family, but you're starting anew. I don't know. Maybe they laid an egg before they passed. I don't know because of this newness here, but I feel like maybe you, or if it was one pet that passed, it was your buddy, right? It was that much of a companion, that deep of a companion, because it was your other half. You know, this would be a bird that was always on your shoulder, a lizard that was always sort of on you somewhere in your pocket, right, on your body, and you lost your little buddy there. But they're saying follow your heart, and I placed it without even noticing, but it's pointing at this newness, and that's your sense of direction, your guidance. So we've got a pair of similar messaging here in terms of it's okay to go ahead and focus in on these new babies, the starting again, right? The freshness, the refresh. Okay. I'm going to put these down, but I think I'm coming to these last, everything about transformation. So we're going to come up here in sort of the bucket half empty perspective that you have right now. You don't feel like you're unlucky. You also don't feel like you are lucky. You're just in this kind of dullness, I feel. And the dust here, this is clearing of emotions, kind of clear the way, get those emotions out of the way. And, you know, this is emotions of guilt. When I see the butterfly on the heel, jealousy, envy. So in that space, it would be guilt. I don't know why you would feel guilty, because I feel like this companion, you know, they recognize how close you were, and they're kind of trying to lift you up here, right? With the butterfly on the toe, they're trying to kick you up, lift you up, get you into the positive thinking here, and kind of clear out any of those negative thoughts you may have had, you know, regarding with just losing them. I don't think how they passed, but just any negative thinking about their loss. Like when you think about them, don't think about their loss. They want you to think about the companionship that you had, all the fun times, as they bring me now down to my whimsical, whimsy magic box, Jack in the Box. You know, anything's possible. You know, the future's bright. You don't know what's going to happen. You know, expect the unexpected. You know, beautiful surprises. It is with transformation and power manifestation here. So there's a lot of magic. Who knows? Maybe you're someone that did those tricks with your pets so that it looks like magic. You know, when pet owners like drop the sheet and they're not behind it anymore. So maybe some of the stuff you did with them and the way you played with them felt like magic tricks. You know, that kind of playfulness, that whimsy, as I was coming down from don't remember this, remember the good times. And they're talking about, you know, sort of the peekaboos and the disappearing acts here, and the surprises, expecting the unexpected. Maybe it's like toys. All of a sudden you brought me home a toy, right? And then I have my DIY charm as the last charm we're ending on here. The sentiment is opposite to what you see. It's actually, you're the DIYer. You know, you have all the tools to fix this. And I would just say, in this sense, you're just fixing sort of your heart center. You're fixing your perspective when you think about this lost pet or pets, and you start to think about all the good times and all the fun that you offer as a pet parent, right? And extend it up here to this new addition. You know, consider it. If you don't have it, you know, they want you to consider it, because you're a super fun pet parent. You know, you can fix anything. You know, maybe they ripped a head off their favorite doll and you sewed it back on, right? There's this shared sentiment of wow, Grant, like their eyes just open, like whoa. You know, if it's a guinea pig or a gerbil, it's like, holy cow, I got new sawdust. Like, where did this come from? Or I got a bowl full of veggies. Like, holy cow, I got a ball of Renin. Like, there's so much excitement here. Maybe that's why it's the vibrant red. It mimics the jumping here of the rabbits that we had at the beginning. So super, super playful energy over here with this group of pets here. So hopefully you were able to see and connect in with your pet today and kind of feel their love. I'm going to go ahead and clean up, and we're going to jump into card number 2. So if you also tuned into that card, hang in. Otherwise, you can click away now, and I'll see you at the next reading. Try to do this kind of quick. Okay. No rhyme or reason. Just get it out of the way. Okay, so that was the card that was chosen. All right. So if you were drawn to card number 2, we're going to go ahead and connect them with this group of pet souls. They might come in on a common sentiment, common message for you, a common personality trait, a common experience. Could be a common breed. They might all be the same species. So we'll see here how the cards divide up and how the charms layer on top of them. Just gonna pull those out of the way because I feel like they're just like, get rid of them for whatever reason. Your animals are like, don't need those ones. Okay. We got these 2 coming out. Oh, okay. We're pulling the 3rd with that. And then these 2 are kind of poking out there. Okay. Now we'll do the charms. Just move down so you can see the process. We'll see what charms want to go with which grouping. Okay, we're starting here. See what's over here. We had similar in the first group, so I don't think that too many charms fell. Don't think that they just kind of dropped out of my hand. We'll see what they want on this deck. That could just mean maybe same species but multiple messages. Okay. We've got some forgiveness here, some healing in the heart, sense of purpose and direction. That's interesting. They want you to kind of move. And then we've got a lot of love and manifestation over here. Looks like maybe a little bit of laziness to move forward. With some milestones. And a close bond. Super close bond. Okay. So what was the first card we started with? Trust in the magic. Interesting. Card 1, that group, we ended off on a message of magic, like magic tricks and the wonderment and the sort of amazement that your pet had and how you played with them. So I wonder if that's the largest commonality here for this group is, you know, the companionship, which I saw here in the last charm I flipped over. You know, this was your buddy through everything, right? Your raven. You know, your raven is always there. They're your companion. Yeah, so a deep bond. This was like your number one, right? Your brother, sister, buddy in an animal form, right? Okay. I think I'm starting up here for this group. I was talking about forgiveness, friendship. I'm going to lean more into friendship because we started with the really strong buddy sensation that I was getting there, the kindred spirit. You know, this pet was always with you. Like I said, your raven. So they're acknowledging here the degree of, I don't know why I screamed with it falling, jumping off my hand. Maybe they wanted to jump into your hand, right? Jump into your lap, jump into your arms. They don't want to be in my hands. They want to be in your hands, right? They're your friend. They're your buddy. You know what? I screamed like when my dog jumps at me unexpectedly. You welcome it, but you still kind of react like, whoa, like I just did. I wonder if they are dogs, because I brought up my dog as the example, and we have the wolf here howling. Maybe your dog was a howler, so huskies are quite vocal. They're known for their beautiful howling. Maybe your dog had the love of howling when emergency vehicles went by. Maybe that was their thing. They like to join in. But being vocal seems to be a pretty strong characteristic trait of your pet. If they weren't a dog, they're a vocal pet here. Maybe if they were a bird, maybe they were a mimicking bird. Talked a lot, sang with you. Maybe your cat was a talker, right? Always mewing and meowing and making those clicking sounds they make. And then we have the incomplete heart. So acknowledgement that they feel the same with regards to your partnership, your companionship. But I'm being pulled into, maybe that's why we're getting into card next. This is also my charm for clarity, seeking information, looking for something. So maybe you're looking for something. Maybe you're looking for something related to that. Maybe you feel like you lost something, misplaced a memento. And that's been frustrating you, because this is also my charm about anger, frustration, howling. So let's see. And, friendship bear is all about peace and calmness. So maybe the story here is, don't worry. I'm going to tell you where it is. Whatever you may have lost here. Obviously, you've lost your companion, but I feel like there might be something physical here you've lost, you misplaced. So we have the skunk and the panther. We have know your worth as one message that's coming through. So maybe you just lost your sense of self, right? You lost your confidant that you were coming home to, that you were saying everything to and sharing every experience with, and you're kind of like, now what? And then the panther spirit, we have reclaim your power, and I guess that's the answer to the now what. Reclaim your power, right? It could just be find that next companion as well. That's okay to do. There's a call for you to step out of the dark here. The skunk is all black. He comes out at night. He's even wearing a mask here. Why would he need to wear a mask when he's already coming out at night? He's already a species that sneaks around. The panther is also coming out at night. So maybe, are you staying up all night? I'm getting that sneaking around, looking for something. So maybe you're wandering at night. Maybe you're out walking or just driving around, like just aimlessly, like no purpose, no sense of direction, no sense of purpose. Because this looks like a weather vane, right? The top of the weather vane, but there's no northeast, southwest down here. It's just the decorative top. The wind's blowing it every which way. Maybe that's how you feel right now. Maybe you're just so much in solace that it's okay if someone knocks you this way or that way. You're just kind of like, okay, I'll go. But there's something here with the night and you, and they kind of want you to step out of the darkness, right? Step off this flower and join the brightness of the garden below. You don't need to hide away here in the attic. Panthers hang out in the tops of trees. There's a step out and stepping down, to rejoin. So maybe you haven't lost anything physical. You've just lost your sense of self. As you saw, your self-worth here. I mean, if you did lose something physical, look down. That's the direction that they were indicating. So look low. Maybe you haven't been looking low. Look down and look in things that are low. Look under things. Lift up the couch. Maybe it's under there. Okay. So we have direction here, follow your heart now, and endless possibilities, power manifestation. So positive message here about your pet wanting you to move forward. Maybe you have a decision in mind, and they're all for it here. They're supporting you to move forward and create. Buffalo spirit, the abundant universe will provide. So maybe you've had some concern there. Crow spirit, co-create with spirit. Well, I was just talking about creating here. This is your earth messenger. So your pet may be talking to you right now through crows around you or ravens in the sky, if they're in your country, if they're around you. If you notice one or a certain number of them, kind of sticking with you for a long time, make sure you notice them, count them up, and then look up the spiritual meaning and count their cause. But there's this strength here with the buffalo, right? The warrior painting on him. The encouragement for you to muster up the strength, maybe to forge ahead, right? To do now. You have to go into battle, right? They put the warrior paint on when they're about to head out into battle. They're about to muster up the courage to step forward and do that. These are both protector animals as well. Protection energy, right? Strong strength. So your pet that you may have lost may have had that role in your family. Maybe they, were a security dog. They had that energy about them. You just knew in your heart that they were going to protect the family, protect the other animals on your land. If you had lots of pets. And just the largeness, but the quietness as well. So this, for me, if I'm looking at maybe a dog species for examples, this would be like the German Shepherd or the quiet, those sort of larger bulldogs, sort of that pit bull. Sorry, the pit bull breed that's quite calm and actually timid but protective, right? Protective of their owner here. So definitely getting that energy of this was my owner, and I was protecting my pet parent. And then the third card is very and quite contrast here, right? Look how vibrant it is. Magical, power manifestation, and that sense of decision. In between the two flowers here, where's the hummingbird gonna go? Which one are they gonna pick? And maybe that's what you're deciding right now. Either it's something in your life, or maybe you're deciding on a new pet. But I feel more this could be a life decision. Do we go this way? Do we go that way? Do we move here? Do we move there? Maybe it's something you've been delaying because it is be here now, right? Be in the present. So we got now, follow your heart. Similar style arrow in the, I pointed at it off camera. Similar style arrow in the beak. Sort of the emphasis here. Strong emphasis on now. Green light. Right? This is the time. All the wealth and opulence that this bird is showing here. So, your protector is telling you that, it's safe, right? That was their role in life, was to protect you and tell you when it's safe. Coast is clear, I'm keeping you safe. And he's keeping you safe still. I'm letting you know now is the time to do it. Make this decision, it's safe. It's safe for you to create and start this next chapter, start this new thing. Okay. I'm just gonna clear all those down here. See where that story is gonna take us. Okay. Flamingo, elephant, and spider. There's a lot of magic in this group for all of you. Spider is about making the dreams, manifestation, magic. Elephant, learning from the past. Flamingo, embracing the in-between, being present, being the now. So very similar messaging here. This is quite the collective of species as well. So I think this kind of second deck, I think all of you who are drawn to this group, you probably are a collective group. Maybe you do have spiders, the birds, maybe farm animals or livestock. Or maybe you do work in a zoo and that's your pet. Maybe you lost one of the animals you were caretaking. But see how exotic they are, this grouping? So unlike the more traditional species in the second row here, we're back to being exotic again. I'm saying back because we started with a panther and a skunk here, so we're kind of bookended here with some exotic animals. So maybe some non-traditional domestic pets, right? The less common ones is what makes the commonality here with this group. But this group also wants you to embrace the magic, to start manifesting, to start weaving your own future, start taking control. We have milestone. You've come to a milestone point. We were talking about making the decision here in this group. This is about finding the other half of self for full satisfaction. I know this is a pet reading, but for some reason I'm feeling this is like a human. They want you to find your other human, your other partner. Or maybe when your pet departed, instead of reintroducing another pet, you actually grew your family. So a new human. I just feel this sense of new human in your life, which is fulfilling your love here. So a new partner, a new soul connection, a new child, and that's the milestone here that you're living through right now, present day. My DIY charm is all about you have what it takes to kind of fix this. I think it's, fix your heart. This is going to be a healing experience for you. We did talk about how this was like your companion, right? The one that was always with you, always on your shoulder, always in your purse, always on your bag, doing everything with you. So there's this acknowledgement of the completeness, the wholeness you're going to be feeling. And we saw that here with the soulmates. A new companion, the heart here below, a fresh start. But again, I'm getting human this time around, or at least at present time, present period. The cat is ecstatic. Like this is a happy cat. It's also my lazy cat, which means live in the now. So if you're wondering, like, ooh, maybe I should have introduced new animal and new human at the same time because I miss my animal. They're like, no, now is the time for you to pause, just live in the now and focus on this new start. The key to your new home, this new start. That's what's important right now, not another animal. And you're about to manifest. The yarn here is ready to get pulled. So this is a new chapter. Again, this is a new start, a new chapter. You have the power, the magic to just embrace it and create it. So, down the road, because you have the power of manifestation, that's when you undo the ball of yarn and bring in the next pet here, right? When you're ready. There's a request here for you to do this at your pace, and that's okay to do. So if you have family members or anybody that's trying to rush you into reintroducing another animal into your life, I think you're okay. And even your companion here is saying no. Just pause on that right now and focus on the human connections. Okay. So I'm going to do a cleanup. So if you weren't drawn to the last group, you can pop away now, or you can go back to group one. They had similar messaging around magic, that magic of manifestation. So maybe you want to check that out. Otherwise, I will see you at the next pet reading. Okay, so we'll get the card back. And then we got the ducks. And maybe we'll just bring the charms forward again. Okay. So welcome to those of you that were drawn to card number 3. I'm just going to put it to the side. We will look at that first, but we will get our cards and our charms before we dive into the reading with our pet that we lost, or pets. We'll see who comes forward here. We'll see what kind of message they have. We'll see what kind of commonality they're coming in on. If it's breed, maybe it's just sentiment, maybe it's just the messages that they have for you. Interesting that those two have flipped up. That hasn't happened. So I wonder, it kind of felt like a little hello, right? Hi. We're here, raising of the hands, right? Ready to talk. As the cards kind of slow down here. So I guess that's what they were doing. They were like, stop. Okay. And maybe you were like that. Maybe you were like, why you keep shuffling? Just stop. And I'm just going where they're drawing my attention here. I'm just kind of, they're trying to get me to, I'm just going to split the cards because they're trying to get me to this one here. Okay. I'm just seeing. Oh, okay. I'm only seeing because there's just one over here, but maybe there'll be a few charms on that. Okay, so these cards go this way. And we'll pull these in, kind of go side by side. Oh, we got an interesting pattern here. Maybe as a group of souls, you guys are more organized. Maybe they experienced more stable. I see a very stable foundation, right? Like Legos locking into each other. So you provided a very calm, stable, solid foundation of a lifestyle for them. Yeah, let's see what they want to discard. Let's see what charms they're going to pair. Just the one. We've got some movement. I think I have to go up here and kind of get one out of the way. Get a couple out of the way. There's still some movement, so we'll just hang out. Okay, we'll come back. And I'm just going to see if the witch wants to join. No. Okay. I'm just going to tune in and see where we're starting with your pets. Got some healing here. You know, this fairy looks kind of sad. I don't usually read her that way, but she looks like she's sitting and kind of, you know, crying in her hands. And then we have Friendship Bear here, bringing her flowers with healing. So this could be a great loss in terms of pet, you know, a pretty significant and profound. So either you just had that deep of bond, or this is length of time. So this could be like a 18, 20 something year old senior animals here, just from the depth of the pain that I'm kind of feeling here with Tinkerbell and how much they want to kind of hug you here. Okay. We've got some cutting the cords and two changing of perspectives, some kind of repeating cycle. I wonder if this is not acknowledgement of loss. I've never had the angel wing come out upside down and want to stay upside down. But there's like a commitment here, some kind of commitment. Maybe they're not happy with some kind of commitment you're in. You know, cutting the cord, changing perspective. Everything was kind of upside down. Everything's kind of upside down here. Maybe you're not socializing. Maybe you're isolating yourself. Because they want you to do a major shift here, a major milestone. And then we just got a little bit of love here. Okay. Where are we starting? Oh, well, we got twins. You know, I'm reading into the twins here right away. So, this would be a pet that definitely mimicked you. Same facial expressions. I see right away the photos of pets and pet owners where you're both smiling, like you take those selfies together and you're both smiling the same way. That you're both klutzy or clumsy, like you'll both naturally fall down and stumble down the stairs, and maybe when he was a puppy, you're like, oh my gosh, you're copying me. But then you realize, nope, you just have the exact same energy that I do. So regardless of species, this is a mirror image of a pet in terms of personality. So, your pet was a kind of a dead ringer there for you. I'm going to use the bowl here, see if I can get this to stand up. I think it would be nice to just be able to keep seeing it on camera. Okay, so which pile do we want to start with? I wonder if we're down here starting with the not so happy pets. I wonder if that's part of your pet's personality. I'm just pausing because pets always come in with love, right? They're happy to see us. They're wagging their tails, and this is kind of the attitude pet, or the catitude. Walking in and them just glancing over their shoulder and like, so what? I don't know why they're giving you this energy, this commitment. Like the angel wing upside down, this is like a hard no. Like if my dog was doing something wrong, I'm going to be like, no, right? The disciplinary talk. That's what I'm getting here. Your pet is returning that to you. They're doing that no. And it's about some kind of commitment you're in. Some either a commitment you're repeating. I don't know if after their passing you allowed somebody back in your life and they were like, and your pet's like, no. You successfully moved on from that person, and just because they came around to console you after I left, do not fall into that repetitive behavior. They do not want you repeating something since they've departed. Do not repeat this. Hard no. I mean, there really is no other message up here with the cut the cord, change direction, change perspective. That's exactly what this says. Cut and move on. Cut and run. So, right, cut the cord. This is actually a piece of cord. So cut this. Cut and run in the other direction. Change direction. Wine bottle's pointing away. And change your perspective. So don't fall for a sudden empathy, right? If someone hasn't been genuine with you and then all of a sudden they show up and they're like, oh, here's some flowers, I heard you a lot. Like, they're using that as an excuse to contact you, talk to you. Narcissists do that a lot, right? Individuals with ego, maybe you bruised their ego when you walked away. So this is their chance to do that to you. So there's protection coming here. They want you to walk away from this person, this situation. And I'm saying situation because I'm picking up sort of the socialization. So it could be a group of people maybe that you're falling back into. Maybe you're going back to your old ways. Graduation day, the high school, college, university, right? Maybe you're reverting back to those bad behaviors that we were seeing here. Maybe your animal was a support animal. Maybe you suffered with anxiety and they're trying to say, no, you've got this. You can cut the cords to the past. Focus on your achievements that you made when I was with you. You can do it again without me with you. So what were the cards they paired with that? So we got our big wise whale here. Our soul coming in and visiting us with all this wealth of knowledge. So this is history repeating again. If history's coming into you like a zeppelin, right? Picture the size of a zeppelin in the sky and how slow it's moving. So it's pulling in all this deep, heavy stuff from the past that you've already, moved on from. You left the whale in the ocean, and here you are pulling it back in, allowing it back in. And all it's going to do is make your world cold. She's on the inside, but it's snowing on her. So I'm going to say right now, we don't have an animal species whatsoever, but those of you who came to this pile, your pets, your loved ones, regardless of species, are all seeing a return of an ex, you returning into bad behaviors or back to a group of people or maybe a person, and they do not want you to. There is this no, please do not do that. This is you. Okay. I'm going to come over here to the arrow through the two hearts here. Because that's also a return of a past hurt. So I guess we're coming in on a common thread here of a return of a situation. So this might be a return to bad behaviors and cut those cords as I'm drawn to the double wine. So maybe you're falling into or returning to a bad behavior or an addiction, leaning into it with your loss. And they're saying, please don't, you recovered from that. Because I was seeing that as a badge, right? The coin that you get at AA meetings and sobriety chips, I guess is what I'm saying, and gambling chips, right? Because here, this is more relationship. This is more of my charm for return of an ex, return of a person. And maybe that's why they came down here side by side, 2 and 2. Very similar structure, because they're sharing in this message of, keeps them away and move forward. And the cards are saying the same thing. Look at her pushing away the birds coming in, the past that shouldn't be there. She's fending them off, right? Fending them off from her nest, and your pet's here with your back. I've got your back. Let's get rid of these individuals that have come back in. And I am saying individuals again. So if this isn't an ex story, this is a group of people. This might be the party crowd, right, that you were going out with, and you're like, no, I'm done with that. And you're already in your golden pasture. Literally, this card is the angelic hues, the angelic gold hues that they like to use when you're full in your oneness, right? And what did they choose here? A beautiful horse that could be a unicorn. It could be a Pegasus. It's up to you to finish this picture. It's up to you to, are you galloping into your field? Are you soaring? Are you taking off? But you can't, don't bring them with you, right? Look at all these feathers that are falling behind you as you face forward. So a combo message here from the pets regarding both a return of a person or a group of people and return of bad behaviors that they do not want you to move forward with. They are drawing me back to the horse. So I think there's someone here, very specific, or a few of you. It's definitely a horse that was your buddy, your mimicker, your companion, because they're making sure I emphasize horse before I walk away from this card here. Okay, so the deep emotions up here, the deep sadness that they want you to heal from. They're bringing in comfort, gifts, recovery, healing, recovery from the sadness, a sense of loss, being lost. This card generally comes up when I'm doing dream analysis readings. But if I pair it with my fairy for the pet reading, I was saying how I was drawn to how she was looking down. I think you might just be lost in your thoughts a lot, or even just absent-minded. You might be sitting there quiet and looking like you're thinking, but you might be kind of waking up into the realization that, oh my gosh, I wasn't, like, I don't even know what I was doing. I wasn't thinking, I was just sitting here. You're stuck in this fluid, kind of bouncing around fluid environment of thoughts here. And you're not really focusing, like I said, you're not focusing on anyone particular. You're not healing fully. None of these are fully green orbs. They just have starts of it. You're starting to feel, then you move on. You're starting to heal it, and then you move on. I think they're encouraging you to sit in those emotions, right? She is sitting, and there's encouragement here for healing. So maybe that's what you've been doing. You've been avoiding actually the emotions, avoiding the loss, avoiding going through the stages of grieving. And I'm saying stages of grieving because I'm coming back to my chip here, my token, my badge, my coin of how many days I've been successful at sitting in my emotions, letting my tears flow. This was your better half that you lost, right? You're a twin. So you're allowed to just fill these huge bubbles up, right? If it's screaming into that one, scream. If it's crying into that one, cry. If it's laughing and giggling out of nervousness and anxiety, do that. If it's remembering, do that. It feels a lot like those new movies that came out for children. All of us watch it, but the emotions, right? Happiness, joy, sadness. I don't know what all their names were, but each of these bubbles are kind of representing those emotional spaces that you haven't healed yet. And it's not really heart. It's all thought. It's all memories. So like I said, maybe it's a scenario where you're saying it's still hurts too much to think about them, to remember. And they're encouraging you to, no, go ahead and remember. That's how you heal. It's through remembering. It's through embracing and sitting in that feeling and allowing us to express that feeling that we heal. So some beautiful healing message in contrast to this protective, right? Your soldier here, your angel, your archangel, with regards to this past person, this past relationship that deeply hurt you. That's why it's the double arrow through the heart. And these bad behaviors, the group that you need to cut ties with, or this bad behavior, this repeat behavior you've fallen into. Change perspective, head the other way. You know this, right? Your bag of wisdom up here, your zeppelin of wisdom. You know this. You know this. Look at your achievement. Get back to your coin. Get back to your path. Okay. So beautiful, loving messages today from the pets that we've lost either recently or throughout the years. So hopefully you're able to heed their caution and take away their messages of love and healing. And I'll see you at the next pet reading.